Hey, you guys. Hello, hello. Good morning. Hey. Hi. So it seems like a theme that we talk about who are you? And the question is so relevant because I believe, and I'm just going to show it as a possibility in the moment. I believe that, hi, good morning. I believe that that part of what happens in the human experience is that we associate with and identify with a story, and it becomes who we think we are. The story of our culture, the story of our family, and it becomes who we think we are. And it's how we talk about ourselves. It's how we define ourselves, and so. I think the possibility is that because the theme of what we're doing here is to help people to make a conscious connection with their higher power, with God. I think it's important to entertain the possibility that holding on to or being attached to an identity or a story of ourselves keeps us from having that connection. And so, what do you think of that? Is that possible? Can you see that? Is that possible? Do you have a story? Do you have a story that you will not let go of? That you're like, and that this is me. This is who I am. And are you? Is it possible that that story is actually part of creating our misery? If what we'd like is to be at peace, if what we'd like is to live in harmony, if what we'd like is to be in service in each moment, what we'd like to be is living in our highest potential, in conscious contact with the power of the universe, with God as we understand him or don't understand him. Can we come to that with, yes, but this is who I am. This is who I am. I am in my life there were many stories. There has been many stories. I was as a kid I was the rebellious, chip in his shoulder, tough little shit, and that was my story, and I identified with my family. I had 3 brothers and a sister, and I was, we were, I identified with my family. I identified with my dad's story. He flew in the Second World War, but I saw myself as that, as that. And a lot of it is not conscious. Unless somebody points it out to us, we're not aware of it. We just think that's who we are. And we don't recognize that maybe holding on to that can be keeping us from our conscious connection. And I just want to tell it, imagine that something terrible happened in your life. A sister died, or a child passed away, and then the community starts to identify you as the fellow whose child passed away, and you identify yourself as, I am the man whose son died. And we hold on to that identity. But eventually somebody will come along and say, well, that's not who you are. because they'll see that it's clearly not serving you. You know, it's clearly, doesn't mean it didn't happen, doesn't mean that it wasn't hard, and it, in some circles, a terrible thing. But we are instructed, people tell us to let go of it. Say, well, you know, you have to let go of that. You know, you need to not be identified with that. That's not who you are. You are so much more than that. And we agree, and we begin to let go of it. You know, we say, okay, thank you. You know, when we begin to thank God for whatever happened, and we use our gratitude techniques and to surrender and to recognize that it's not who we are, and that's accepted. Our psychologists would tell us that. Our family would say that. Everybody would say, you must let that go. That's not who you are. And yet, if we say if we go and get a doctorate or PhD, then we are identified as that. We become Dr. So-and-so, and everybody encourages us to identify with that. But either is the same. They're both outside of us, and they're not who we are. And I'm just sharing that to recognize that look at in our lives, who are you, what role are you playing, and to let that go. You know, we're here to be in each moment, alive in each moment, to be here in each moment, alive in each moment. And the coat we put on of the doctor, or the coat we put on of the man who lost his son, becomes an identity, and it keeps us from being alive. That's all. That's all I'm saying. And it happens with victim stories. Trevor and I had quite a discussion just before we started this just now. Because whole cultures have had terrible things happen to them. Yes, terrible things happen to them. And yet, before they're that culture, they're a human being. They are, whatever we want to say, a child of God, and we're all here with the same possibility to connect in each moment. And let's not let what happened to us keep us from that connection. No matter whether it's culturally, no matter whether it's a story from our past or our community's past, we have the opportunity to surrender that and live in our full potential in each moment. And there are techniques for doing that. In the 12-step world, we have a fourth and fifth step that allows us to look at the situation where we feel we were angry with somebody, we feel we've been victimized, and to see, in that step, what's our part, what do we play in it, and to, really recognize that maybe the perpetrator, in somehow, we know that we have to let go of our anger. We know that we have to, because it's killing us. The perpetrator doesn't get hurt by our anger as much as we do. So somehow we have to find a way of letting that go. And it's not always easy. It's not always easy. But the results are phenomenal. The results are, we're lifted up out of victim into love. And we are ambassadors of love. So that's the story this morning. It's not I didn't write that story. That's a universal story. And over again. It's in all the teachings. Any idea if Monday's the 22nd, today would be the 19th? Is it, Trevor? Mm-hmm. Sometimes I don't remember what day it is. Hi, you guys. June the 19th, thought for the day. It says we have this choice every day of our lives. We take the path that leads to insanity and death. And remember, our next drink could be our last one. Or we can take the path that leads to reasonably happy and useful life. The choice is ours each day of our lives. God grant we take the right path. Have I made my choice today? Beautiful. That's exactly what I'm just speaking about. That, the path of anger, the path of the victim is really doesn't serve us, whether we're alcoholic or addict or not. Hey, Jason, my buddy, I just did a whole 10 minutes on story and letting go of our story of who we think we are. So maybe you can listen to it after. It'll we post this right away. Meditation for the day. Your real work in life is to grow spiritually. Now, is there any confusion about that sentence? I mean, I think we all agree on that. That's what we're doing is, we want to grow spiritually. That's pretty clear. There's no yeah, but. Our real work in life is to grow spiritually. To be this, you must follow the path of diligently seeking good. The hidden spiritual wonders are revealed to those who diligently seek this treasure. From one point to the next, you have to follow the way of obedience to God's will until finally you reach greater and greater spiritual heights. Work on the material plane should be secondary to our real life's work. The material things which you need most are those which help you to attain the spiritual. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, clear description, isn't it? What a great paragraph. You like that, Tara? Mm-hmm. Awesome. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may keep growing spiritually. That's it. I pray that I may make this my real life's work. That is the deal. That is the deal. Okay, guys. Beautiful, eh? And there's just many things. And Trevor and I were having a conversation before about whether it was appropriate to point out that living in a victim story was detrimental to people. I mean, we're very attached to that, and I have as well been had many poor me's, and poor me leads to pour me another drink for the alcoholic and the addict, and so that's it. Love you guys. Remember, we're ambassadors of love. Our whole job is to share the love. Being on a spiritual journey doesn't come without terms. And I believe the terms are that we give it away. These are the terms. And so ambassadors of love, is just a kind of a fun thing that I made up to deputize you all as ambassadors of love. Okay. Carry the message. Happy, joyous, and free. Cheers. Have a great day.